Well, since they come from another world, I suppose they technically would be aliens.
Are you talking about the moon squirting monsters all over the Earth?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
And why they're there, I don't know.
Because that's where monsters come from, don't you know?
Well, I thought they were on Earth all this time. Everything I know is a lie.
Yeah.
Damn you, Final Fantasy.
Heartless.
Everything you know is wrong.
Heartless, have you ever seen the movie Dogma?
Heard of it.
Well, there's a funny moment where one character says, "So everything I've ever known is a lie?" And then another character's like, "No! You just have to integrate this new information with what you already knew."
I've heard that's a good movie. I've never made me see it.
Yes, well, let me put it this way. It has Jay and Silent Bob, and Chris Rock, and Alan Rickman.
That sounds pretty much completely amazing.
And, what's it? Linda Fiorentino, is that her name? Yeah, I think that's her name. So if you guys hadn't figured it out, at this point I wasn't exactly sure where to go.
I mean, that again, is like, what are we supposed to do now? They never really give me, like, go here next, or go there next. They just say, do whatever. You'll find
Well,
out.
no, they did kind of tell you, it just was not, they didn't say go here, they said she's going to do this, therefore implying that you should go to a certain place.
Vague direction.
Well, yeah, in case you guys wondered what I was talking about, the reason why I was late, I'm a fan of a form of racing that's rather obscure in the U.S., but pretty popular in many parts of the world, called Formula One.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
It's nice about rockets.
Right now, our Squall and the teacher lady, I forgot her name, Quistis, are they
Yeah.
just running around in a hall or something?
Quistis is just kind of sitting there in the control room.
Okay, I think my video restarted.
Alright, you should be at 18 minutes now.
Okay.
Alright, we've just started an FMV.
Okay, cool, thanks.
See my house from here.
I'm at 8:20 now. 18:20.
Alright. We are at 18:20 now.
Okay. I'll go back a little bit.
Oh, I see the Babylon fish now. Or
It's called the Balaam fish.
The Babylon fish.
I thought you were referring to the Babel fish, like in the Hitchhiker's books.
It's almost the same thing.
Have
It's
you?
a little-known sequel to Babylon 5 is Babylon Fish. It all takes place underwater.
Is it just me, or did that look like a giant nipple?
As big as it is about to pop.
Or is it? Or is it not?
That's really nice.
So, keep in mind, all of these monsters apparently can survive in space.
Well, they're on the moons. That's technically space.
No, it's not. It's not quite the same. Although it does pose many of the same problems.
Oxygen on space.
That's true, there's no oxygen, there's
I believe they're headed for Tier's Point in
probably
Essa.
a negligible atmosphere.
Then that means Lunatic Pandora is at Tier's Point. When did this happen?
It's basically space, no heat or anything as well, so...
Have you seen a girl come by here?
They were inside the moon.
Yes, she went into that locker
So,
room.
never mind.
No, they do show a shot of the monsters on the moon's surface before this.
Okay. I thought that they were coming from inside the moon.
Okay, well there's a reason why I didn't know where to go. It's because it's a room that I haven't visited before, and the door to that room is not obvious.
Of course. In a Final Fantasy game, you should never get any, obvious direction to where to go.
Unless it's Final Fantasy X or Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, 13 is just go in a straight line.
I suppose it's
Rinoa.
it's supposed to be so easy.
Unless you're in Australia, I mean Pulse.
I think that probably the best thing about Final Fantasy 13 13 is that like the gameplay is absolutely amazing. The story's alright. The level, the visuals are great. The level design is but it's
Well, it's like if you...
I don't know, I haven't played that yet.
It's like what you get if you take an RPG and you focus entirely on the battles, pretty much.
Yeah, which I kind of thought was somewhat refreshing, because, you know, a lot of other Final Fantasy games, the battle system is
What's this? What's this? Who is it?
The flood of monsters is drawing near Adele's tomb.
Pretty fun.
I really want to play that game, but I just cannot afford a PS3 or an
Adele's
Xbox
tomb might fall
360
somewhere near
thing.
Estar.
Just try to get one around Christmas or whenever your holiday birthday is.
So, well, that's pretty much the same time of year. I mean, 21/12, that's my birthday, 21st of December. Sorry, Colin, I interrupted you. What were you saying?
Who could have set this up?
It's just finished, I think. I kind of forgot what I was saying.
About other Final Fantasy games.
Sorcerer's
and
Ultimisia.
A lot of the Final Fantasy games, like, they had small changes, like when was the active time battle thing introduced? Was that 4 or 6 or something?
That was before my time, or before the games that I've played.
It could be 6, it could be 1 though, but I do remember it's 6.
Because 6 was really awesome. 6 was a really good one.
I finally played that, like, last fall.
It was, I'd say that the battle system and everything is definitely, like, at the time it would have been ahead of its time, so I'd say it's definitely better, technically, than 13, just because they really didn't have as much to work with, but from a modern standpoint, 13 has a really, like, a much better battle system. Whereas then in between there really wasn't much difference until 11. Well, no, yeah, I'd say 10 is also fairly similar. Until 11.
It's much too dangerous now. We must leave Lunar Base at once.
Different.
We have to evacuate. Hurry to the pod.
Yeah, but apparently that was just...
What I would
Forget
love
about
to
me,
see
just go.
Is a multiplayer, non-online
Please, sir, we must
RPG, like
hurry.
where you could just have different players controlling different characters. Because in FF13, you basically only control one character in battle.
You mean in co-op?
Yes.
Hey you,
And how,
take care of
like,
Alone.
Something like FF13, but in a game like that, the action is too fast-paced for you to control more than one character. So why not just have other people play the other two characters?
The thing is that the way that 13 is set up, it focuses less on micromanagement of individual attacks and more focuses on switching around roles of characters.
Well,
So
then
it encourages building specific strategies that you swap around depending on the situation.
Or like
Damn it,
FF12,
the seal's gonna be
you wouldn't
broken.
have to rely entirely on all those gambits if you had 3 people controlling the characters.
Yeah, well, 12 was, I think if I recall, I never played 13. I mean, not 13, I never played 11, so...
Neither did
I'm
I.
kind of guessing here, largely based on the design, but I think 12, the gameplay, it feels much like an MMO. So, I assume 11 is fairly similar to that, probably just a little less high quality. And of course, without the gambit.
So while we've all been babbling, so not only do you have to go through that door that's very not obvious, but that turns out to be a dead end. Because Rinoa shuts the door on you.
Wow.
So now Rinoa is out here and releasing the other seal on Adele's tomb.
I hate to go back to the other thing we're talking about. They actually did release a patch for 14, and what I hear it's actually supposed to fix most of the bugs in that game.
Oh, that's good.
Red eyes, that is never a good sign. Especially red glowing eyes.
Just once, I'd like to have a character that has red glowing eyes that isn't bad. Maybe.
Rinoa!
At the best.
Come on, we have to evacuate, now!
We can't leave Rinoa. We have to do something.
Glowing eyes are always an antagonist. I mean, it's common law, like where usually
Squall, Squall. You should be protecting Rinoa, not me. You're the only thing on her mind
Well,
right
there
now.
are exceptions. I mean, there is a rather famous superhero.
Alone, take me to
who's,
Rinoa,
You know,
please.
the guy in the big, dark, scary costume.
Next, hurry.
I don't know if I can send you. I don't know.
And his superpower is being really rich.
Building stuff.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does Dante have red eyes, or were they like yellow or something?
I think they could have been red at one point. I don't know if I could be wrong.
Because if they were red, then that would be one hero that has red eyes.
Yeah.
Well, yes, this is the Lunar Cry going out to Tears Point, where Lunatic Pandora is. And
Baby's cry of White
you already mentioned that. And yeah, Adele's tomb is also going there. So, as the Lunar base people said, it's like someone planned the whole thing. And of course, as we know, someone did plan the whole thing.
The master of the plot, I guess.
Yes, well, we know who that is. It's Ultimisia.
Now the narrator. He's more control over this than all of us. Wait a minute, is there even a narrator in this game?
No, there is not. There is an FF12. And 13 also. In 12 it's an NPC, and in 13 it's a PC, who's the narrator.
Wait, I thought that... Well, the sort of like... Well, I mean, the narrator kind of shifts between different characters in 13.
But there's one person who's sort of the overall narrator.
That's true.
And I love how they do it, though. It's like, the first words you hear...
God!
the
Rinoa is
13
gonna
days after
die!
we awoke
I
was
can't
the
take
beginning
it.
of the end.
Alone, please,
It's like
I've
you
never
spend the
felt
whole
this way
game
in my
figuring out
life.
what that means.
Yeah.
Flashback. Similar to 10, halfway through.
You mean, listen to
This
my
is
story?
Take me to Rinoa, to her past.
Okay. It might not work.
Alright, so...
Try, okay?
Meanwhile, the Lunar base people were like, uh-oh, we had better get out.
Come on, we have to go now.
Is it, Meteor on the ground there, that red thing?
It's not even a sphere.
Okay.
Although, if you noticed, one of the shops in Esthar is called Cloud Shop.
Nice.
So,
Here's a bit of a reference.
here is in this...
A lot of Final Fantasy games seem to have references to each other. I mean, I think 13 has the most out of all of them, but 12 has a lot as well.
Like Sky Fortress Bahamut, and... Oh yeah, a lot of the ships are named after GFs. Yeah,
Irvine,
so...
go back to the desert prison.
It's named after something else like Column Polon.
No, it's your father's order. I'm taking you back to Gatling City.
So here we are in a
Ouch, are you
flashback. Speaking of
crazy?
flashbacks, apparently seeing the unconscious
go back and
or
help everybody.
semi-conscious Rinoa was enough to let Alone use her power.
So, they're traveling to Mojave.
They'll be fine.
Well, no, you know what's...
I'm sure they
I
can
think
get
you know
out of
what's
there
in
when
this.
the time comes.
So
Don't
after
know for sure.
BRB.
after General Caraway
Squall
gave the
might
order
say, but no one
to
has
get
ordered
only
me to
Rinoa
escape
out of
and
there,
end up staying in
she
there.
realized that the others were not going to get out of there.
Can't have that.
So now
Have to
she
help them.
is doing whatever she can to
I don't care
persuade
if we have to
Irvine
force it back.
to go back and get them, and that generally involves punching and kicking him. And shoving his head back into the vehicle.
Ouch! Ow! Ouch!
Well, he's being kind of a dick.
Go. He's thinking about himself. He's being self-care.
That's not his job.
Sorry,
His job is to impress the ladies.
Oh, it's not working. No one's like punching him and stuff.
Yes, well, by now maybe he's decided that Rinoa isn't the lady he's trying to impress.
Squall's ring? I don't know where he bought it.
And another flashback.
I want the same one. It looks really cool, doesn't it?
You mean the one with some monster carved on
The
it?
ring thing.
Yeah.
Ring thing-a-ling.
Alright,
They
how
still
about I
think
make you
Lion is a
one?
monster.
I'm pretty good at that kind of stuff.
Silly non-biology people.
Sure, okay.
Although I suppose it's understandable.
Let's
if
have
they
Squall
never
show us
see
the real
any
thing.
lions, and you don't really see any actual lions. Well, you sort of see one, but that's kind of a special case.
Why not?
I will say no more on
It's
this.
embarrassing.
Say what?
Explain what that was exactly.
What was?
The moon was present.
Oh.
I mean, we see him and then it's just...
No, it's not what you think.
Most of the game is. As
Colin,
he's
we
done.
are all perfectly well aware of your interpretation of the last 3/4 of the plot.
I love it because it completely ruins the entire thing.